Tara Westwood joins us via Zoom. She's a former Winnipegger. She lives in New York, and we thought it'd be interesting to get her point of view. Good morning to you.
Good morning. -16, huh?
That's warm for us, Tara. That's warm. You forget your
I
roots.
have forgotten.
What's it like to be a Canadian living in the States right now? Are these conversations, factoring into your daily life?
A little bit, just because I'm such a proud Canadian and everyone around me knows that I'm Canadian. So, I'm definitely feeling some things on both sides. Like I had someone over the weekend say to me, "Oh, I'm sorry that Trump's being so tough on your country. You guys were there for us during 9/11, and you brought our planes down into Canada so that they could land safely." And so I'm getting that side of it. And then I had someone joke. I was talking to someone yesterday at a rehearsal, actually, who's American, and I know he was joking, but he was like, "Why can't you guys just stop resisting?" And it was such a funny word. Now I know he didn't mean it literally, but I was like, "Stop resisting." And he said, "Come on, if you guys had a problem there, you know that we'd have to protect you." So I know he was joking, but I feel that there are quite possibly people in the country that don't consider it a joke.
I know that some of our CBC reporters actually that have been covering events down south have faced similar comments from Americans, and maybe not joking.
Yeah.
I know obviously you have people on all sides of the political spectrum as friends, as many of us do in our lives, but in the United States, you do. How do you stick handle that conversation, especially as you said, you're a proud Canadian, but I'm not sure if how often you want to be pulled into these conversations to represent the country. It must feel like a very unique position to be in.
Well, I mean, to say that the last year has been a difficult situation in America and elsewhere, I know, with the political climate is, it doesn't even cover it. Everything's been madness here. And I feel like Trump and his America First approach doesn't allow for any nuances, or a diplomacy for that matter. So I do think, when you have the president of the United States saying that Canada has not lived up to their side of the tariffs, and Canada's allowing fentanyl into the country, and Canada is keeping the border open, and the rhetoric that is being said, a lot of people trust and believe the president, as one should be able to. So my concern is that Canada's always been, and I only say little brother because that's how it's been referred to me by Americans, the little brother of Canada or of the US, and we're close and we've always had a great relationship. But with how stressed out people have been about the border, about, affording eggs or whatever they're buying at the grocery store, people are just wanting their basic needs to improve. So if they're suddenly being told, "Oh yeah, those people we thought were allies are actually hurting us," it's not going to take much to have opinions turn. Now, overall, do I think that Americans still absolutely love Canadians and Canada? Of course. But will you have a certain segment that will just listen to that and run with it? Yeah, that's a fear.
I wonder if you could elaborate on other points where being Canadian has ever been, quote unquote, I guess, an issue for you down in the United States? Or is this an unprecedented thing in your life to be having these conversations come up at, as you said, rehearsal and such?
I mean, I've always felt I have a different view here because, our basic needs in Canada, I don't know how this will be received, but are met. Everyone has health care and people can get married. And that's not, some of those socially, I'm very left. I would consider myself moderate, so I'm able to kind of speak and do have friends on both sides. But for example, gun violence is something that I care a lot about, and I'm actually going to be making a movie, hopefully in Canada, about. And, there's no nuance there. People want me to either say I hate the Second Amendment and I want to get rid of all guns, or I'm completely pro, and I'm neither. I believe and support the Second Amendment, and I want laws to change. But I feel like, people will say to me, whether it's that subject or any subject, "Oh, well, you're Canadian." Like there's a little bit of a dismissive. I think that they feel that everything's so cushy and great up there, which, it's nice that they think it's great in Canada, and it's nice that they think everyone's so sweet. And the only negative kind of comments I'll get is people will go, "Oh, you're so nice because you're Canadian. Ah, you're naive." There seems to be like that. But again, generally speaking, I haven't had I haven't had a difficult time ever in America being Canadian, except for when my green card expired during Trump's first presidency, and my immigration attorney called and said, FYI, he's not renewing everyone's green cards because he doesn't like Trudeau. And I was like, what? So that was a little concern at the time because I've lived here since 92 and this is my home. But that was the only moment that I was ever kind of scared as a Canadian being here.
Tara, thank you very much for your unique perspective and point of view. We really appreciate you joining us on CBC this morning.
Thank you so much.
That's Tara Westwood. She's a former Winnipegger now living in New York, where we reached her.